I don't think you can tank this year. Yeah. Like Jesse's right. It's all still in front of you, whether we think it can happen or not. The fact that you're talking about winning 2 basketball games. That's what we're talking about. Winning 2 basketball games. Yeah, give me that.
Yeah.
I'll take that. Now moving forward, I don't see them doing it, but I understand why the conversation is brought up. Like, we've been over this. Like, we fight over this. The alternatives. Like, how do you so we're going to get a new front office? We're going to keep the same front office? Because you got to answer that question first. Then it's like, okay, Doug's your guy or Doug's not the guy? Because Doug's record is going to come back down to earth here a little bit. Or I'm going to try that again. It appears Doug's record is coming back down to earth a little bit. So what if Doug winds up being a 500 coach? Like a shoot 500 coach? Well, then what? Because he started 5 games under, when taking over from Mike Brown. But what are we talking about? Like, what is the true barometer here for Doug's success? Can Doug even succeed without a playoff spot? Is that the only barometer for success? And what happens if they do make the playoffs? Everything's good and we just back here again? Like, no matter what happens this year, there are so many unanswered questions going into this offseason because of how truly chaotic this year was. You fired a head coach that you just signed. You traded your franchise player. Your guy that you went to pair with your franchise player seems to be skeptical about the whole situation. You went and landed a couple of Chicago Bulls, one of which you've coveted for a long time, one of which you coveted this offseason. His desire to be here moving forward might be in question. And people talking about, oh, yeah, I'm all for it. Dude, improve the roster. Okay. Trading DeMar DeRozan is going to improve the roster. Salute. Tell me in your mind what you think that trade looks like. And that's where I'm talking. That's where when we first brought up, like, I don't know where this organization goes moving forward. I don't know what their true trade chips are. You think the league thinks super highly of Domantas Sabonis? I like Domas. I think Domas is very, very good. But I'm asking you, what do you think the league thinks? When he's out there on the open market, what do you think that commands you?
And look,
you can't possibly answer that. Not a person listening to this can possibly answer that.
I know I can't, but
I know what it's not, though. It's not Rudy. It's not KD. It's, hell, it might not even be De'Aaron Fox. I don't know what it is, but I know it's none of that because he's not thought of like that in this league.
Like I said, we get into back and forth with people who cover the league outside of Sacramento who are like, dog, Sabonis is not it. He is not it. Like, I ain't paying, especially now you talk about a price tag. It wasn't even like a fictional price tag. It was like, no, now, like, you're paying him, what is he making, $40 million a year or something like that?
About, yeah.
There's obviously trade partners, but like you mentioned, what does that look like? Like, do you have to, what are you getting in return? And the fact that people believe that you just for sure are going to get multiple first rounders, I don't know about that. I don't know. I don't know. We think he's great. We think he's a good ball player. We see the value in him. There are a lot of people outside of Sacramento who do not see the same value at that price tag for Domantas Sabonis.
That's right.
That's all we're saying.
Throw back a little bit. Is there even a core here?
No.
Like who on this team are you holding on
Absolutely
to for like the next 3 years, 4 years? Like,
nobody.
Yeah, no one. There's no one here where, and I'm not of the belief like Keegan's got to go, but I'm also not of the belief like, oh my God, you can't lose Keegan Murray.
Yeah.
Are you ready to build around, like, just genuinely ask that? Are you ready to build around Keegan Murray, Devin Carter, Keon? Like, who's
that core
like,
that
who you
TC
throwing?
threw out there? Oh my gosh, that's not that core. Like, if you have them on your team, like, that's one thing. That's one, but like, we building around these. Nah, we ain't building around them. Now, like you said, that doesn't mean
that's crazy. There ain't a single core player here.
Like, what are you working with at that point then? Past this season.
I don't know. I brought this question up months ago. I don't know.
I low-key think we have our answer.
The killer.
No one?
That's the thing. Like, yeah, I think we're just headed. I don't see how this works with Doug Christie, this roster and this front office. I just don't see it. I don't see how this works or how you trade whoever. It's like round out the roster this way. I don't see it at all. I don't see a future here.
The killer is you don't have the draft pick. Like you may not, like, you either gotta make the playoffs and not have the draft pick, so you'll go another year without a true core player, or you miss the playoffs, you get the draft, and you got a hit. You may not have a core player with the next, if you get this draft pick this year. Just because you're there don't mean like you're gonna make the right decision. But the fact that I don't even want to say missed, because I don't think these guys are bad basketball players, but you haven't found the franchise player in 4 drafts.
Yeah.
That's tough for a
But how many draft picks are franchise players? Like per year, how many do you think the draft pick winds up being a franchise player?
I would say less than 5.
Five per year?
Yeah, less than 5.
Okay. I got you. Yeah, no, that's fine. No, less than 5 is fine.
I don't think this team ever really, this front office built the team the right way to get the most out of whatever you had. Like, you had Tyrese and Fox at one point. Like, the Pacers built a team around Tyrese, Siakam, where they got to the Eastern Conference Finals. Like, Fox and Halliburton didn't work, and then you get rid of Halliburton. Like, Fox and whoever, like, they just never built the right guys here.
This we're just talking. This is just talk. Someone told me that Indiana did ask for De'Aaron. Is this roster any different? Is anything different if it's Tyrese?
No, because they still probably built it backwards. I can give you whatever player you want. Like, how many times have we begged Monty McNair, Wes Wilcox, whoever, to go get a wing and stuff like that? They never built this team the right way.
Well, once again, like I said,
at least that was sustainable enough for winning.
I push back just a little bit, because you went and got your Keegan Murray, and you tried to go get you the wing that you're talking about. The price was the one that you weren't comfortable paying. That's why I always push back with that one. Like,
which one is that?
Is trading Keegan Murray.
All right, well, the front office got it wrong then, I guess.
What'd you say?
Maybe the front office got it wrong, like trading Keegan for who? Siakam or who?
Siakam or OG. And there was no guarantee they were going to sign with you. But that was the move. Then you had other situations where everybody wasn't on the same page, whether it was Brandon Ingram or John Collins. So I don't think actually getting the deal done is what matters most, but I don't think they didn't try. And I think they put a lot of trust and belief in Keegan Murray. And that was the guy, like, nah, we can't. We'll give you Harrison and, whatever first rounder we get, but we not moving off of Keegan. And I understand that.
It's all hindsight now. Maybe they played the wrong card then.
Yeah, that's fine. But like I said, I also understand it though. I wasn't trying to trade Keegan for those guys when they were up during that offseason. I wasn't trying to do it, and that, like you said, that might have been the wrong play.
They might have made a mistake. Just I don't want to say they never took a risk, but maybe just never taken the next one.
Well, yeah, but
you traded Hallie for Domas. That was a risk.
Would you have taken a risk on Siakam or OG? Let's say it includes Keegan, and you don't know if you're going to if you don't know if you can re-sign them, and even if you do, you know what it's going to cost you.
Yeah, I'm on record as saying this is where I get frustrated with some people who get upset with the front office. I will tell you, I wouldn't have made that deal.
I wouldn't have either.
I wouldn't have made, and the people at the time, we're on the airwaves, we're having these discussions. No, we're not trading Keegan, and we're telling you that's what it's going to cost to get one of these guys. So
without knowing they'll be here.
Right. I'm not trying to absolve the front office, But the reality is you tell them to go get these guys, and Keegan is the guy that's going to get you that.
Mm-hmm.
And you say you don't want to trade Keegan. Well, how are they supposed to go get him?
Say you're strong, though.
I would. It is disappointing, though. I tweeted it out last night. I'll reiterate it here. Back-to-back disappointing finishes to the season, collapsing down the stretch. That's disappointing, man.
If I asked you right now, do they make the play-in? Just going off vibes and how this team is going, what would you say? Do they get above Dallas or the Suns?
I feel like they're going to make the play-in, yes. Mm-hmm. But I do not feel great about this team at all.
Yesterday felt like one of those, the sports universe is talking a bit.
I looked at Dallas's schedule. I hadn't looked at Dallas's schedule. I didn't think it was – I thought it was like I don't need to. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter at this point. Like looking at their schedule, Phoenix's schedule, it doesn't matter because you can't evaluate anything looking at the Kings schedule. Mm-hmm. You don't know how they're going to – look, you got Oklahoma City tonight. You got one of the best. No Kings fan is going to be surprised if they lose the game. No Kings fans should be surprised if they win the game. We've been saying this now for a few weeks. You got Portland coming in on Thursday. Don't be surprised if they win. Don't be surprised if they lose. Mm-hmm. We've got 11 more of these. That's just let's say, Jesse, they get to the play-in. Don't be surprised if they win. Don't be surprised if they lose. You can't get surprised until they win a playoff series. Because that would shock the hell out of me.
That would absolutely.
That means you won 4-7.
Yeah.
And that I know they've done it. God damn it, it feels like a long time ago at this point.
Yeah. This feels like a team that's ready to be written off, I think.
I don't
think it's they might win, they might lose. Like they've lost 7 out of 9.
Yeah. I think KC asked this question a week or two ago. And I'm looking at Mark's comment about the Beam team was fun, exciting, young, seemingly had a direction. I don't think Kings fans like this basketball team.
Oh, they hate this team.
And it's not just DeMar and Zach. I think they're frustrated with Keegan because some of them were a little too loud after Keegan Murray's rookie year. And now they've just got to hold on to that and not be wrong. But I think they're frustrated with him because they thought he was going to be a star or at least a bigger star than he is.
It was supposed to be him, Fox, and Sabonis.
Yeah.
Well, I think they're still indifferent with him. I think I hesitate to say that they hate LaVine or DeRozan because, like we talk about all the time. You go to the games, it's not a lot of hate.
Nah, I don't count what we see at the arena. Well, I think the people we see at the arena are different.
Yeah,
those are people investing there. Like that's different. It's one thing, and I'm not trying to criticize people who invest their time and their energy and people who look. You know, probably to a detriment to this show, I will not live on social media. I absolutely refuse. I won't. But I know a lot of dialogue around this team. I know a lot of dialogue around subjects takes place on social media. And that's part of what social media is. It's an algorithm that is based on you. Like it is Norm was having fun with the show a week ago. Now his poor algorithm has been infiltrated with pyramids and like conspiracies surrounding the pyramids. Like you can't search something once, because it's going to wind up in your algorithm and it's going to own you. And that's like when you're, and that's what we talk about with fan bases being delusional. If you tend to take on a positive aspect of the team, you'll find people who are positive about the team and you'll talk about them a certain way. If you tend to take on a negative aspect. And I do think that's what most of social media is. Part of the reason I stopped using it is because I kept finding myself going to it and saying something when it was negative. Like I'm never saying something positive on. So I'm just not, I got to stop using this. Like I'm just as bad as what I hate on this.
Right.
But conversations are there. And that is a huge contingent of fan bases on social media. It's basically a giant chat room for you to talk with other Kings fans who are frustrated or related or whatever the case may be. I never judge the Golden One Center crowds the same way. I always think it's different. They're always there root for Zach LaVine, to root for DeMar DeRozan, to root for, Buddy Hield when he was here, DeMarcus Cousins when he was here, whatever player fans were frustrated with at the moment, that crowd was always going to be 100% behind them.
Yeah. No, you're probably right with that, man. And I do feel like there is a large contingency of people who just hate this team.
Yeah.
And I mean, do whatever you feel like you need to do.
Mhm.
That's just not really how I go about things.
Mhm.
These guys, call it caping, call it defending or whatever. They ain't done nothing to nobody. They go out there and regardless of what people think, they bust their ass
Mhm.
every time out there trying to get a win. I can promise you, they want to win more than anybody that's watching the game,
Right.
watching us two that are talking about it. They want to win more than anybody out there. Doug Christie, I know for a fact, people are telling him, "Yo, you gotta get some sleep, bro.
Mhm.
Like you gotta go to sleep." Like he's burning what they say, burning the midnight oil and all this
Mhm.
other. Like these guys are putting in work to try and change their fortunes. And the DeRozans, LaVine, Sabonis. We just talked about how Sabonis, probably should have been out 2 weeks and did everything that he needed to do to get back in 5 days to try and change the fortunes of his team. Keon Ellis, Keegan Murray, all these guys, like they're busting their ass trying to change their fortunes, trying to win these games. So, I understand the frustrations that people have, but I look at these guys and they don't want it to be like this.
Mhm.
They trying to do something different. And I think a lot of times people, they don't want to hear it, for whatever reason. They don't want to hear it. They're mad and they've grown to hate this team. And that's unfortunate.
You think they hate the roster or the Sacramento Kings? Because I get hating the group of guys because you want the team to win so bad or whatever. Because your team's been so bad for so long. I feel like it's out of frustration. I feel almost
they
like these guys don't, like the fans don't even have a, like who do you rally? Malik Monk, I guess, but like they don't even have a guy, like a franchise guy to rally
last
behind.
week.
Yeah, but
I think
most Kings fans still love Malik.
It was a semi.
Yeah,
It wasn't a full.
It was more
heel
like, hey,
turn.
you're my bro, but like, what's going on?
He didn't get thrown through the barber shop window, but it was like, all right.
This is a hard team to get
maybe you
behind.
threw him out of the Royal Rumble.
Well, it was one of those things where you looked at him from the aisle.
Yeah,
right? You just kind of looked like, and we were all, hey,
what was
that look?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Kings fans started showing up in black jackets. Like, hey, what's going on here?
This is a tough team to rally behind.
Jesse is trying to keep this show serious, and we're just getting
Jesse's
jokes
pissed off today.
Jesse is the most angry.
You thought I
Kings
was
fan.
upset today,
Man.
Bro, I gotta come and
Jesse is sick of this. They're making his job not fun. All of this.
But I do think.
Wait a minute, is Tone in the camp of hating DeMar and Zach LaVine too? I see Tone in here talking about subtract DeRozan and LaVine, and he'll up his stat line to 18 to 20 points per game. He's talking about
Keegan.
I know he's talking about Keegan. I don't believe that line of BS at all.
Yeah, I disagree.
I absolutely do not believe that. He is not that player.
He has not shown anything.
He is not that player.
He has not shown anything to make me believe that he can average 18 to 20
I'm
points
trying to
a
look
game.
back at Tone's remarks to make sure I'm not taking anything out of context.
And he's a cool player. He's a cool player. I say this all the time. I want him on the team more than I don't want him. I don't want him traded or something like that. But I ain't seen nothing in his game that makes me think, and his mentality makes me think he could average 18 to 20 points per game. He didn't even score 20 points for I don't know how long this year. And that was before LaVine got here. So, like I said, he's a good ball player, but I don't see that way at all. But I do think that, these guys, they just, like I said, Jesse said maybe they don't have nothing to root for, but I don't think they hate everything about this team, man.
Yeah.
They hate the players. They hate the front office.
The way that you talk. I hate the way that you dress.
They hate on the ownership.
I'm with you though. And I love Tone. Tone is a legend. I do not agree with that take about Keegan Murray at all. Keegan Murray has not. I'm not going to repeat everything you just said. I just think everything you said was 100% right. Manny. Now, Jesse.
Yeah. So we all like Doug and all that, but can someone make the case for why you should take the interim tag off of him? why he should be this team's coach going forward? Like what he's done that we can point to.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think he took a group that was clearly done with the last coach, and he went through two different versions of this basketball team. He went through the De'Aaron Fox version. He went with the Zach LaVine version, or I guess you call it the post De'Aaron Fox version. Then he had the post trade deadline version, and he's had a lot. He doesn't have a coaching staff. He has what's left of Mike Brown's coaching staff, and even one of those guys left. It's he's had a lot of different things thrown at him this year, and I do think for them, I think Doug has done a good job. I think he's searching sometimes, and I think his searches, like, because Mike used to do this too, but Mike's searches look different. Like Mike would pull, Chris Duarte hadn't played in a month and a half, and all of a sudden he's playing. Doug's been consistent. Jay Crowder ain't playing basketball. Like, he's going to the same guys, just sometimes he goes to them a little longer. Sometimes he's looking for a different lineup with them. We're seeing that with LaRavia. Like, he's trying to find the right lineup for LaRavia. Maybe he's found it now. But I think he's done. I think I can make the case for him getting the job, but I do want to see how these next 10 games play out. If I was in that position, if I was in the hiring position.
Does missing the play-in change your mind at all? Like, do the records change your mind? Because these, like, I
missing the play-in would hurt.
I think Doug can coach, but like he's also 10-11 since the deadline. This team hasn't been playing well late.
Missing the play-in would hurt.
Ibrahim throws in some in the chatty house. He says, "I want Doug to get a shot with an offseason and a staff, but doubt he gets a shot if they miss the plan. I'm less worried about the latter part, more the first. I don't think we can bring Doug back and give him a shot. I think if you're bringing him back, throw a 3-year deal on that."
Yeah, he shouldn't come back as an interim. He should come back as your head coach. I look at it like this. I want to say regardless of record, but regardless of record, it goes back to do you believe that this guy is the guy for the job? Because anybody you hired has been fired, right? Anybody you hired is going to be somebody where somebody looking like this guy isn't good enough no more.
No, you could end up with a Will Hardy type or something like that, an up-and-comer.
But they're just as improving as Doug Christie.
Well, yeah, but we have a sample size with Doug here.
But you still, we don't know. Like Will Hardy ain't done nothing. Like if we went by Will Hardy's record right now, we should never hire him. And I think he's a good coach. I'm just saying, if we going by that, he should never get another job.
Yeah, I mean,
but we don't though. We go by circumstances. We go by, hey, I think this guy is a good basketball mind. I believe in what he can do, given the right circumstances and the right players and all this other stuff. We do that for Will Hardy, and I only use that example to say that's more so of probably what you would be doing if you believe in a Doug Christie. What he could be, what he could do with a more stable situation.
Yeah, I'm just worried about making Doug the guy and still not really knowing about it, and then realizing maybe this isn't working. Like, he has his guys. Like I said, because like it's tough. He doesn't have a staff, but the record is what the record is, and they're kind of going in an opposite direction right now.
You got to go something like that. I just believe you got to go a little bit more. You got to go a little bit more on your gut, because you're not gonna know anything.
And we're cool bringing him back with the.
You're not,
even though would you bring him back and hire a new GM?
That's tough. There's
got to be a right way you do this. I feel.
I think I would because we talk about that, and it's a real thing. It is definitely a real thing. But if Doug Christie is able to win games, it won't matter who the GM is. GM not going to fire him, more likely than not, if they're a playoff team for 2 years. You know what I'm saying? It's going to come into play.
There's another side of that if, though, where if it goes down the other way, you're kind of looking at yourself like, yeah, what were we thinking? Like, how did we not? Maybe Doug doesn't start off the best way, and the GM this is my excuse to get him out now.
Well,
There's the other side I feel like you got to think about.
yeah, but you won't. I guess my whole thing is you won't know any of this. Like, you won't know nothing about nobody. You bring in Will Hardy, you bring in Sam Cassell, you won't know.
But that's like I'm saying.
You won't know.
I'm not
There's-
necessarily
there's a
opposed to
risk
bringing
involved
back
in
Doug.
everything.
I'm not necessarily opposed to bring back Doug. I'm just trying to hear the answers, and I feel like you bring in a new guy. There's no dysfunction aspect to it where it's like if Doug doesn't do well or whatever, the GM's gonna go get his guy now. Like there's no added part of it with the Kings. I feel like that matters.
Understandable, but I think the answer is just don't fail. Like, if you don't fail, you won't have nothing to worry about.
Yeah, but we told that to the last group.
No, that last group.
The last guy won Coach of the Year, and he was out a season and a half later.
Yeah,
I got so many questions
Yeah.
about that, man. I just don't understand it. They just seem to be so sure that was done. That was it. Like, how did we get there? Like, how did we get there? Why did you hire him? That's the part I keep getting stuck on.
hire him the first time.
The first time.
Yeah.
Like, if you were really trying this out for 2 years, that was the plan. I don't know. I don't understand it. And
Question.
I don't know.
Quick question too. How is the Kirby 75 like with what roster? How's Doug getting this team to the playoffs? It's not with this group.
Oh no, I don't think so.
What I'm saying, like Casey said, like yeah, if you get him to playoffs and you win, that's how you change it. Like how are you doing it? Like you're gonna have to go backwards first. This group is not winning.
If you're gonna,
If
you have to go back, it doesn't matter who the coach is.
I don't.
That's the way I look, because you ain't gonna be good, and by the time you're thinking about being good, that person's not even gonna be here because they'll have like 4 losing seasons. Like if you going back,
Well, no, it's like, do you want to see a rebuild with Doug? See through a rebuild with Doug Christie if you're the new GM or with your own coach?
who sees a rebuild all the way through? I think maybe Dagnall is the only one. Most of them get fired.
Yeah,
Did Dagnall take over for Billy?
I don't
Who
remember. I
Dagnall
think he
take
did.
over?
So we just
for?
assuming the next coach is just firing them? Like
what's his name? Steven Silas was in Houston.
I
He
remember.
gone.
Yeah, I remember. Didn't Cole fire Billy on the air?
well, then the next guy is
Didn't
just
he
the
fire
lost,
him on this show?
At that point, the next guy's just the lost cause. Then
Yeah. If you're doing,
I mean, some would argue that any coach of the Kings is a lost cause. I'm just so happy Nick B is back in the chat. I'm so happy Nick B is back. Welcome back, Nick B. Are people ready for Mike Bibby to be the coach now? Mike Bibby been the coach of Sac State for a day, and they're ready for him to be the Kings coach.
I understand everything Jesse's saying. I get it, but
I do think
you're not gonna know. Like so I think some of this has to be on the, if you're having a interview process or whatever. How do you feel about this guy moving forward? If you feel good about Doug Christie, I say you do it. I don't think you worry about the other stuff.
it's fair. I feel like I feel like we're asking the Kings to finally do it the right way. Then you got to make the hard decisions too, maybe.
But that's the tough thing. Like, I thought they did it the right way the first time.
You got to keep doing it.
Or the last time.
Well,
I
they
should
didn't
say.
because you hired 2 GMs.
Well,
You didn't.
Well, one of
I
them
don't
is
know.
gone officially. You see that?
I saw his little goodbye. Well, hey,
You fired the
salute.
one that talks to the agents.
He's like,
He also
He's
might
like,
have been
we
a
can-
problem. Like
Yeah,
as
there's
far as
that.
like
But
as far as his connections, like maybe his connections weren't good. His relationships weren't good. Aside from the other stuff, like
he seems
what's
to
going
piss a
on
lot
around
of
here.
people off.
Yeah, piss people off, and I don't know. I go back. I think about that Jeff Teague
Mhm.
conversation. Jeff
Mhm.
Teague, when Jeff talks about it, he's like, I'm not even mad at the guy. I'm just like, all right, whatever. Why are you talking to me about this? What do you want me to do with all this? Like, and I think that's what happens sometimes with Wes. Like,
Mhm.
all right, man, just because we're cool, like,
But that's the other
whatever.
thing. I don't know that the other guy talks. Like, I don't think his press conference personas will work. I don't think dude talks very much.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. I have no that's gonna be my first tattoo. Kings 2025 season. I don't know, man. Just put it right here on my arm. I don't know, man. That's about all I can say about this team. It's all I can say about the front office. It's all I can say about their decisions. It's all I can say about the Mike Brown move, the De'Aaron Fox trade, the hate for Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan. I don't know.
I don't know, man. What? That's what I put on my. What?
If Chicago had gone to the conference finals with these two, do you think the conversation would be different?
No.
Probably not Kings, though, if they go to the conference finals with those guys.
I mean, who knows? I don't know.
I don't think there's anything either one of these two would do that would make the people who hate them not hate them.
Yeah. Remember when James used to do the show? Is today Wednesday?
Yeah, he's missing right now. You want to take Leezy's call?
Yeah. What's up, Leezy? I don't want to mess him up. Welcome in the head coach of the Sac State Hornets. Yes, sir.
Sorry for the. I got a crack in my phone. I dropped my phone today, so that's what that line is on there.
Oh, that's a fresh break. Oh, I know that stung.
Is that better or is that?
No, that's perfect.
That's work.
I don't care how much money you have. It stings when you drop your phone.
It is. I'm supposed to have somebody come to the house and fix it. So I don't know if I'm ready to change it to the 16 yet. They got I'm going to change every cord that I have out in my house. So I'm not ready to do that yet.
That's how they get you.
Hey, I know you're repping with the daughter this week. We couldn't help but just real quick. Are you
see the same thing?
Are you allowed to wear that?
You see the same thing?
Yeah, I'm allowed to wear that. I'm hired by Sacramento State.
I mean,
okay.
I'm gonna ask the question because I've been trying to speak this into existence. I mean, are we just gonna be is there some uniformity going on? You ain't even got to answer it. I'm just saying, putting it out there, universe. Is there some uniformity?
I don't want to put anything out there yet until anything's done. So you already know me. You already know how I do it. So
let's go, Mike. Let's go, Mike. Hey, I remember doing an event with you, Doug, Vlade. It was years ago out at the park. It was like some fan fest thing that I was doing for the other radio station. And you and Doug were on stage, and Vlade was up there. And I remember like the question of coaching came up. And you went and you stood and you put your arm around Vlade and kind of looked at him like, you're the guy who can make this happen. I know this is something that you've wanted to do forever. I know you've been doing it, with your boys and all of that stuff in Arizona, but tell me, what's it like? I mean, I know Sacramento isn't your home, but it's your home.
It's a second home to me. I spent half of my career here. One of my kids was born in Sacramento. My kids grew up in Sacramento. They spent some of their good years in Sacramento. So I felt it was only right to come back to Sacramento and kind of start my coaching career there because it was kind of like in the NBA. I was in Vancouver. I got drafted by Vancouver, played 3 years. I remember somebody coming up to me like, hey, what happened? Do you still play? And I was like, damn, so I was like, kind of like, yeah, I still play. I'm in Vancouver, so no one really knows my Vancouver years, but then I know, and then so I got to Sacramento and it's kind of like rejuvenated my career and kind of restarted my career. So I was kind of like, okay, I did it in basketball. Let's kind of go make this kind of same splash in coaching.
Did you always have an eye on coaching, like even in your playing days or anything? Because you're a point guard. That's just a natural coach. That's a natural position where you're a leader and teaching the game and seeing all sides of the game. But did you ever say, like, while you were playing, I'm gonna be on the sidelines at some point?
When you're playing, you never think the game's going to end. You think that may think it's never going to stop. And I didn't really want to coach until I coached my son since he was 9. So Michael, my son's 27 now. So I coached him since he was 9, and with him, it was just, okay, I'm going to put them in the right situation. I'm going to teach these kids the right things, the right way to play until they get to that next level. Now somebody can overtake them. Now I can be a father and watch. I'm not one of those helicopter dads that sit over and I want to watch and I want to make sure my son or my kid plays. I don't do that. So I would put him in the next situation and let somebody take him over while I sit back and watch and kind of teach him the right way of things, like as a dad instead of as a coach. And I went into practice one day and he was a freshman, and I saw the way the practice was being handled. And I remember talking to the AD. I'm like, I don't like this for my son. I want him to be able to learn and get in situations where when he goes to that next level, he'll be ahead of the 8 ball. And he's like, we don't know how long we're going to keep this coach. Would you like to coach? And I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'll take over coaching. That's when I started with the high school. And then I fell in love with it. I fell in love with what I do for these kids and teaching these kids and grooming these men into young men.
I can't believe your son's 27. I'm shook up there, man. That's crazy. Time is
he's
man.
big too, man. He's to that stage where he trying to press us up on me a little bit. I said, "You still my son, man. Back up."
That's the wrong move. That's the wrong move, son.
Have you thought about it's because Mike, obviously the game, you've been involved in the game basically your entire life and in coaching and that's just kind of relaying lessons that you've learned. But man, you've got different animals to deal with in 2025, man. You got transfer portals, you've got NIL agreements. Like, how much thought have you given to that over the last few years leading to this moment, but really the last few weeks since you got this job?
It's different. It's different now, and we're hitting the ground running. We're we're allowed to deal with the portal stuff, and right now you can talk to all the people in the portal, and it's crazy. I got so many calls. I'm probably like 150 kids. Like the first 2 days, I was the coach, and I haven't got a chance to look at everything yet. But we're gonna pull off an amazing feat right here and come in here and try to switch the whole culture of Sacramento State around and turn this into a winning thing.
Mike, what would you say your style of play is? Like, if we go out there and we're watching Sac State, and we'll definitely be out there, are we gonna be like, man, this is a up and down offensive team, or this is a grimy defensive team? Obviously, you want them to be able to do everything, but what do you want to hang your hat on as a coach for your team?
My thing, even though I didn't play much of it in the NBA, it's gonna be I want them to play defense. Our thing's gonna be off defense. I want to be an up tempo team. We're gonna run and gun, get shots up. We're gonna be in shape, so we're gonna go back to the old school running. I want our team to pick up defensively and kind of wear this team out. You get in games and teams play at your pace. We want teams to play at our pace, and they're not going to be ready for it. We will. So we're going to try to wear teams out in that aspect. Try to average 80 to 90 points a game and just get out there and play basketball and have fun while we're doing it.
And that influences the way you attack this transfer portal, right? It influences the way you recruit. Like, you have a style of play in mind, and you've got to go get young men who can do that.
Yeah, I want kids that can play. But first of all, I want good kids, good young men that aren't knuckleheads and come in here and put themselves in a good situation, and so I can look out for them and kind of teach them, be a father figure for these kids and help these kids grow. But I want kids that can play, and that are dogs and will get out there and will leave everything on the line for their teammates. I don't want selfish players. I want guys that, is happy for the next player when they score. Kind of like our Sacramento guys, to where everybody's having fun. You could mess around with everybody and not take anything to heart, but just have fun out there.
Mike, you've lived out here, you played out here, X amount of years ago. And you probably know in the city, the perception of Sac State and what it was as a university, commuter school, the sport, all that, it wasn't like high, right? It was just like, all right, it's whatever, it's Sac State. And now in the last 18 to 24 months, the energy that has been injected into this university from Dr. Luke Wood and AD Mark Orr, and we got our guy, Coach Marion, and now you being a part of it. I mean, can you just talk about the energy and the perception and the good vibes that's going on with Sac State athletics right now?
I mean, I think it all starts with Luke Wood and the way that he's treated me and the way he's treated my family by coming in is second to none. The same thing with Mark Orr, and they're looking to do big things. You know, like you said, the football hiring and the way they've turned football around. I think it's going to go the same thing with basketball, and they want to see these. I mean, Sacramento's a sports town, and you have to win in order for them to even come out. They're always going to have your back no matter what, but you have to give them a winning situation for them to be able to go and want to follow that and want to be able to be a part of that as well. And I think by the hirings that they did, I think it's going to help a lot because I mean, there are so many people like, you know, trying to down Sacramento State, down this, and well, you have this, well, no one will do this. And me, I love a situation to where you tell me I can't do it, I'm gonna come in and do it. So I love to be back in Sacramento again. Like I said, it's a second home for me, and it was a no-brainer for me coming back.
Hey, Brett asked a great question here in the chat. He said, "Who gets to wear number 10 for Sac State?"
Nobody wearing 10, man. Put that in the Raptors
Can
now.
you imagine these kids going, "Hey, I'm gonna wear number 10," and Mike goes, "No."
I mean, number 10 is a good number. They're wearing that. Somebody's gonna wear it. Somebody just Cole Pete. Congratulations, go to University of Arizona. I think he'll probably wear number 10. You know, got DeMar DeRozan wearing number 10 in Sacramento. A lot of 10s are retired around the NBA too. So I mean, number 10 is a good number to wear for people.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Hey, Coach Mike Bibby.
Coach, that's crazy.
Yeah, man.
Coach, that's crazy.
It's tournament time. I'm predicting we're gonna see you guys in tournament time sometime soon, but that's just me. But man, I love the story of you wearing those foam posits in the national championship game. I've heard it before, but I can hear it 100 times. Make you just kind of talk about how that played out. But it changed the game, really. You wearing those foam posits kind of changed the sneaker game, man, with like having debuts and stuff like that on that Final Four stage, man. So you were a trendsetter with that.
I'm telling you, it was like wearing a Timberland boot out there. I feel them today, and I'm like, there's no way that I was able to play in these. But you can, you know, when you're 18, you can play in anything. So, but I mean, you know, back in that day, everybody wore uniforms that were, you know, matched their outfits. I mean, wore shoes that matched their uniforms. So you know, our uniforms are red and white. We were red and white or navy and white. And Eric Lautenbach comes to our team, sits our whole team down, and it's like, hey, I got a shoe for you guys that I want you guys to wear. I mean, you don't have to wear, but I'm gonna give everybody a pair. And they're not your team color. Like he emphasized, it's not your team color, but they're not out yet. And as soon as he said they're not out yet, I stood up. I said, I'm wearing them. I don't care what they look like. I don't care what color they are. I'm wearing them. And so, I mean, ever since then, it was like, okay, I wore them throughout the whole tournament. There were some guys that wore them, some guys that didn't. I was one of those guys that kept them on the whole tournament. And it was just, I never thought it would turn into what it turned into. I wasn't thinking about turning into something that it was turned into. I just wanted to be, you know, different and be like, hey, what does he have on? Because I was always a shoe guy when I was young. I was never able to get them all. But now, you know, I was able to have a shoe that no one has. Like, okay, I'm going to go out there and stun on them.
Yeah, that was iconic.
Now you have all of the shoes, like literally all of them. Albie and Connie has told us stories about the shoes that you have. What's your favorite? Do you have a favorite shoe in your collection?
I don't have a favorite shoe, but if I would say the Cap and Gown 11s. They're all black. I just love all black shoes. I wear black a lot, and my best shoe that I could probably say like the all Cap and Gown 11s.
Yeah, love those. Look, hey Mike, look, you ain't got to say nothing. I'm just talking here. Boy, that jump, man, look fire in that green.
Yeah,
green, it looks fire. I ain't trying to get my man Mike in trouble. You ain't got to say
just a casual observation. Just a casual observation. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Mike, before we let you go, I'm old enough to remember, I don't know how many people are, when you were a Kings analyst like 5 minutes ago. And yeah, you know, one of the biggest discussions is the Keon Malik starting 6-man thing that's going on right now. You're a part of one of the greatest conversations ever in that regard, is that you were starting. Bobby was really good, the 6-man, and it was a constant, you know, what would be a better fit for Sacramento. Do you have an opinion on the starting 2 spot for Sacramento?
You could always look at what I said. I said it from the first day coming in. I loved Malik coming off the bench, and I put him in those categories with the Lou Williams and Jamal Crawfords, those guys that won that award 3 times. And I mean, I just think, on any team, he could be a starter. The same thing with Bobby Jackson. Like, Bobby just gave us so much energy coming off the bench. That was his role, and Bobby embraced it. Bobby got 6 man of the year. I mean, it's just something that I think that fits him so good that you need that kind of firepower coming off the bench. And I'd start Keon Ellis and bring Malik off the bench just because when things start off slow, they've been saying that since the beginning of time. When things are slow, you need somebody off the bench with that firepower to give you a boost when the team is dragging at the beginning. I think Malik does that for them. I'd bring Malik off the bench. He's a great player. Like I say, he could start anywhere he wanted to, but I think his best role is being the 6 man.
Coach Mike Bibby.
Man, this is awesome.
Coach Mike
This is
Bibby, man.
awesome.
That's
Cannot
awesome.
wait.
Congratulations,
It's
bro.
about to go up when we get to sack. Be ready. Everybody be ready when everybody coming out. Just be ready. It's gonna be a different look over there.
Yeah.
Hey, we're proud of you, bro, man.
Thank
Congratulations.
you very much.
Yeah,
I
this
see
is
you,
awesome.
Georgia. You got your hair now, huh? I see that.
Oh yeah, come on now. Yeah, boy. Hey, Mike know what it is. You know why? You know why I broke my hair? But I got confused for you as you too many times. I be at the Monarchs games like, hey, you Mike Bibby? Like, no, man, I'm not. I had to grow it out, dog.
It looks good, man. I was at the airport yesterday. Somebody thought I was Derek Jeter, man. I don't know, but I mean, some people don't get to see people a lot, man. So I guess so.
All light-skinned brothers look exactly the same. Appreciate you, Mike. Can't wait for you to get out here, man.
Yes,
We're
sir.
gonna be out there
Yes, sir.
supporting you.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me on.
Man, welcome
sir.
back, baby.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, guys.
That's our man, Mike.
I'm so hyped about this signing. This is shout out to Dr. Luke Wood.
Yep.
Shout out to my man Mark Orr.
Yep.
AD Mark
I
Orr.
got it done.
They are making moves. And this is going to be a hell of a move. I look at what Mike Bibby can do just in recruiting alone.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that I'm speaking in hyperbole right now. I think he can contend in the Big Sky next year.
Absolutely.
When you talk about the transfer portal,
Absolutely.
when you talk about what they may be able to do with NILs and all that, we see Coach Marion got these boys cooking.
Yep.
Got these boys cooking.
Yep.
So I think Mike can come in here and have instant success in that conference. And I can't wait to see it. And it's going to be going into the new pavilion arena, whatever we're calling it over at the Well.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be rocking. I'm being in the building next year. Come on,
Germ
man.
said I need a sneak peek of Bibby's shoe collection. Boy, I are allowed in where Mike's shoes are.
Well, you got to be. You're gonna need a facial recognition
Mm-hmm.
to get there. And I did say yesterday, like I said, I ain't trying to.
Were we together when Al told us the story of Mike's shoes?
I don't think so.
So Al, being Connie, worked with Mike all of those years here. He would go to Arizona and work with him out there.
Uh-huh.
And he said the last time he went to see Mike, Mike was like, yeah, I'm gonna send you back with a bunch of shoes. And he just starts pulling shoes. And then he said he goes into this other space. He goes, it looks like a Foot Locker, but not the Foot Locker you walk into. It's the Foot Locker you see when you walk to the back where all the shoes are.
Right.
That's what Mike's storage unit looks like.
Man. Oh man. Hey, Coach Mike, man, shoot me a Coach Barry. I mean, now look,
I got a pair from Team Dime. I don't remember what number they were. I got a couple from Mike.
Okay. Shout out Mike Bibby, Team Dime, big ups to him. Now, like I said, tweeted it yesterday. I'll say it here on the air. I'm not trying to start no mess, but there's one more thing we need in this transformation here. We can remove the stripes, bring a Jumpman logo or Nike in. I don't know what the contract is. I'm not trying to do anything. I'm not trying to speak out of place. I don't know. I'm just saying if we can get rid of the stripes.
When
You can't just talk to Big Mike himself and be like, hey,
I was gonna say when you're Jumpman for life. Like Mike's allotment of shoes hasn't ended. Like you look at the famous picture of the Incredible Hulk version of Mike Bibby?
Yeah.
What was he wearing?
You on that jump man.
Yeah, that ain't
You on that
changed.
jump man.
That ain't,
And look,
hey,
people,
place that call.
I look.
I can't imagine Mike out there rock. Oh,
Some people
I didn't even think of that.
some people who make moves, they was like, yeah, I ain't gonna say, but if you look hard, if you look, hard enough, you can see somebody was co-signing that. And I'm like, all right, well, we on the same page. Let's all get on the same page. I don't know. So I was having a conversation yesterday about Sac State, and the guy I was talking to, I was talking to our guy, Mark Spears, the Hall of Famer, and he is like, yeah, man, Sac State, they talking about, because he's a San Jose State grad and proud alum, and they're in the Mountain West. He's like, yeah, man, they talking about Pac-12. That ain't gonna happen. They shot themselves in the foot with the Mountain West. I was like, man, come on, we might get in the Mountain West and do whatever. And he says, yeah, but Davis already took your spot. You know what I'm saying? There's enough room for two. You know what I'm saying? You get the SAC media market. Like, he's like, I don't know. We'll see. But it made me think, who has a bigger following out here, Sac State or UC Davis?
Oh,
I think it's Sac State. And I kind of don't think it's close.
Know.
I kind of don't think it's close.
Yeah, really.
But I could be wrong. That's why I'm asking the people. But I think Sac
I don't
State,
know. I kind of feel like it's Sac. I don't know.
like, for instance, like right now, if they're both good athletic departments at the same time, and we may see this, I feel like Sac State would have the general public's attention more than UC Davis. But I really don't know. I that's just a guess on my part. And maybe I like Sac State more than Davis. I always have, but I don't have no problem with Davis.
Okay.
I don't know. A lot of people saying Davis. Ice says Davis.
I don't know. I
Jazzy
don't.
510. I don't know how she would know. She says the Aggies.
She a Davis alum or something?
David Lopez says UC Davis. They say Sac State is a commuter school. UC Davis alumni engage with the school more.
Yeah,
Sac State has more fans.
I'm not willing to fight anyone like for either argument.
Mm.
I just don't feel like I see either one. Like,
yeah,
we're arguing one versus the other,
right?
But I don't feel like either one of them is overwhelming.
That's fair.
You know what I mean?
That's fair.
I think that might change.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Dr. Davis says UC Davis, and I don't think it's close.
Okay.
And I'm not throwing no shade to nobody, because it looks like everybody's saying UC Davis.
Mm-hmm.
But UC Davis had their coach pleading with people to come to the playoff football game this year. So, yeah, I don't know. There's that.
Shout out Sac State.
Next year, I'll go to both homecomings, and then I'll report back.
Oh, you'll have more fun at one of them. Definitely.
Okay. You're not fooling anyone, pal. You're not fooling anyone. That's the question that was on your mind?
Yeah, I was thinking
That's
about that. I was like, who's got a bigger foothold on the, on the sports community?
You think Mike might change that?
Definitely. I think Sac State is, their arrow's pointing up. So is Davis, because they're going to the Mountain West and everything. But that was my thought. Like, Davis has had more success in the two major sports. I know Sac State baseball's been real good. Volleyball's been women's volleyball's been really good. But I'm talking about like basketball and football. Well, Sac State have success in football, and they were popping. But I know Davis made the NCAA tournament 6-7 years ago.
If Sac State gets their football and basketball up, I think they'll step up. I graduated at Sac State. I don't be telling no one about like their sports or anything like that because they stink.
I think that's Jesse said it a little simpler. When those two sports and they're both good, I think Sac State might have a little bit more of a hold. But
there was no school pride when I was at Sac State because the team was always losing.
Yeah.
Like now, if you step it up, yeah.
I could be wrong. A lot of people in the chat saying UC Davis.
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't feel like either is overwhelming. I do feel like right now there's a lot of buzz around Sac State, though. And, the buzz is great, but you got to show out for Mike.
Yep. And
You got to show out for.
They got the well there now. A lot of complaints. Oh, they didn't want to go to that arena or the gym or something like that. Now you got something new. You got Mike there. Coach Marion's gonna have it popping. I'm gonna be on the sidelines. D-Lo gonna be on the sidelines with our cowboy hat.
No, I won't. I'll be in the Sky River touchdown zone.
I'll be there too
with my wine and popcorn. I don't need to be on the
sidelines.
I'll be perfectly fine where I'm at. You can report from the sidelines. I'm going to be in the Sky River touchdown zone with my wine and popcorn, living my best life.
Shout out to the peanut gallery. Too much of a build up for that to be the question. Oh,
damn.
Okay, all right, Jazz. Why don't you let us live?